Hiya, Martin here, thank you for joining me once again, and welcome to a new format of turning videos from me. I've decided to change the way I present my videos slightly, to keep the length down, but also to include a little bit more detail. So how's that going to work? Well, there are so many superb videos out there on how to turn a bowl and a platter and everything else like that, that I thought, rather than do a full turning from start to finish, like this bowl here that I'll show you in a second, I thought I would just concentrate primarily on the finishing of the items that I make, particularly colouring, decorating, scorching, that kind of thing. So this video is going to concentrate on the finishing aspect of this green cherry natural edge coloured bowl. So this piece was cut down only about a month ago, something like that. So it's still really green. I cut it into a blank the other day. Cut it into a round blank the other day, and I thought, you know what, I fancy turning something today. So I turned this. There's some green in it, there's some blue, red, orange, yellow, but anyway, the video will show you how it was finished, and it's still green. So if you keep an eye on Turner's Journey, you'll be able to see how this bowl changes over time, because I'm going to keep it and monitor it over the next few weeks. Yeah, that's it. So here is how I finished the natural edge cherry bowl. Right, so here is a very wobbly lump of cherry. It's still green. I want to turn something today, so this is going to be it. I'm going to hopefully keep hold of its natural edge, so I'm going to round it round and then colour it, I think. Some people might go a little bit crazy about me trying to colour it, but I think a natural edge with some colour may look quite nice, but we will have to see. We will have to see. Right, so I'm going to turn it, I'm going to true it up, shape it, put the recess in the bottom for when I reverse it on the chuck, and then I'll come back when it's time to finish it. So here we are, the bowl's now turned to shape. I've got a little foot on there, and a recess in the bottom. And because I want to keep as much of the bark as possible, and the wood here is wet, I'm going to run some CA glue into the bark and where the bark joins the wood, and hopefully that will keep it in place on the outside. I hope you can see this. The colour is no, not the colour, what am I talking about? The glue has been soaked into the bark, the edge of the bark. I'm going to let it set for a few minutes, and if I get bored I'll probably add some accelerator. So yep, I'll sand it down to 400-ish and then I'll come back to you. Oh, finally. The sanding of that took an absolute age. Yeah, it was a real nightmare. But I'll go into sanding in another video. Right, in the bottom of the recess I've put my maker's mark, which is 6 thin rings and 2 fat rings, thick rings. And inside, in the rings, I'm putting dry coffee grind. This was an inlay technique I spotted by Tom Stratton. He infilled the bottom of a bowl with dry coffee grind, and I thought that's a good idea. I wonder if that would work for the maker's mark that I put on. So just using a paintbrush as well. Just going to pat that down a little bit. Right, CA glue. Now one thing I've noted, I need some thin CA. This stuff is the medium. But what I have noticed is the surface tension of the glue means it just kind of runs off the coffee grind. So you have to kind of encourage it in. But you can't encourage it too much, because as it starts to set, it pulls the grinds back out again, which is obviously not what you want. Right, agitate it a little bit and then leave it to set for a few minutes, which is a really good excuse to go and get another cup of coffee. So just with the skew chisel, I'm going to cut the glue back to wood. The lathe a little bit wobbly if the bowl is a bit out of balance. So I'm just going to use the skew just to cut the glue away back to the wood. Feels good. Yeah, that's okay. Right, yeah, now I can sand that back to 400 like the rest of the bowl, and then I can take it off the chuck again to burn in the details of the bowl in the bottom. Now, here we go. Yeah, the coffee grind inlay hasn't taken quite as well as I would have hoped. So it's really nice here, but it's a little bit flaky over there. But that's something I can improve in time. Now, in the bottom of the recess, or the top of the recess when it's the other way up, I'm just going to write with a pyrography pen what it is. So this is quite simply cherry. That's all that needs there for cherry, and then my name underneath, like so. I wonder if you can see that. I'll show you in a minute. And then just around here I'm going to write August. There you go. There we go. Yep. Right, back on the lathe to add some colour. The exciting bit. Looking over the piece, now I'm ready to add colour to it. I've got a couple of soft spots. Round here is really soft and was an absolute pig to sand. A little bit there, and yeah, oh yeah, just around there, an absolute pig to sand. It wasn't gonna do it. It really wasn't happy about being sanded, so I'm going to have to disguise it somehow. Now, with colouring, you will go through a huge amount of what are these? Latex gloves, and even more amounts of paper towel. There's some nice figure in this piece. Down here it's kind of beginning to spalt a little bit, which is interesting. But I want this piece to be kind of dramatic, so I'm going to make it kind of dramatic. I'll be using paper towel and probably some paintbrushes too, which will be quite nice. But for starters, I'm going to go around the bark in red, go around the edge of the bark in red, and which I think will blend into orange. I don't have a huge amount of red left in this pot. So kind of haphazardly apply the colour. At least I kind of fairly haphazardly apply the colour. It's a cross between a stroke, a brush and a wipe. Now as I'm going round, as I said, I'm just kind of haphazardly applying the colour, and you can see where it's soft and it didn't like being sanded, but hopefully the colour will disguise that somewhat. Where it is soft, you've got to really push the colour in, because you're going to get colour on your gloves. You need to turn the piece using the chuck rather than the base, rather than the base of the piece, and basically just keep your fingers away from the actual piece while you're colouring, because if you get a bit of colour where you don't want it, it's going to look shocking, and then you've got to go through a whole blending process to either blend it out or add it in. Right, I'm going to put some orange around this side. Now, if you watch other colouring videos like Andy Coates or Jimmy Clues or lots of others, Andy Coates keeps the colours separate until he's put on the colours that he wants, and then blends them all together. I don't do that. I prefer to blend them as I go. But you know, there's no right or wrong way of doing it in particular. There's your way or somebody else's way, really. Right, I'm now at the nicely figured part of the piece. I don't quite know what I'm going to do with this bit. So whilst I think about that, I'm going to add a little bit of yellow. I'm virtually out of yellow at the minute. I haven't got another pot, because you use yellow quite a lot when colouring. The yellow kind of boldens up the colours almost, if that makes sense. Now, what to do down there? What to do in here? I think I'm going to stick some green in it. Just going to dabble some green, kind of around the darker of the lines. Now I'm going to take some blue into the areas around the green. Again, I'm not worried if the colours blend or anything like that, because they're all going to kind of mix together anyway. Give that a bit of a wipe. I'm really just letting my imagination go a little bit with this. Because the wood becomes a canvas on which you can express your artistic self. Let's go back to the green. Pop a bit more green in there. I think this bit needs a bit of darkening up, so I'm going to go with royal blue in there, putting the lids back on, the colours I've already used. So just the tiniest amount, just on the corner of a, whoops, tiniest amount. I've soaked it. Idiot. Right, keeping fingers away from the bowl. I think a little bit back in. The main figure too, perhaps a bit. Yeah. That'll do. I'm going to turn the foot black, I think. Right, I'm going to let that dry for a minute. There, I've gone over it with the heat gun, but I forgot what else I was going to do to it. I want to kind of smear these lines out a little bit, which I'm going to use denatured alcohol or methylated spirits. Well, it's the same stuff, but so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a little spray, which will reactivate the stains and just bleed them out a little bit, and I'm going to see how that looks. Give it a spin. There. Looks kind of like it's been mottled. Yeah, I quite like that. And there's a tiny little bit of the denatured alcohol on this piece of paper. Just so if there's anything that's bright and horrible, you can blend it in again. Make sure it's dry. Yeah, that's alright. Right, 400 paper next. Just a very light going over. Now, right, favourite part, this should be where it all pops up into life, is Danish oil. And I'm going to put the Danish oil on with the lathe stationary. Ooh, super, look at that. You can see the oil sinking into this wet wood. And I'm going to keep on applying the oil until it sits on the surface. so then I know the wood has had a good soaking of it. And now that's done, I'm going to reverse it in the chuck and clean out the inside of the bowl. Right, I've got the bowl down to how deep I want it, and looking in here, there's a thing. I don't quite know what it is, but it's going to get glued in. So now's the time I need to do the bark, because it's fairly fluffy. Add some CA glue to the bark, and that'll toughen it up, make it nice and rigid for sanding. Right, I glued the walls. I glued the bark onto the walls, and sanded down to 400. 400. Now the inside is done. I'm just blowing off the dust from the bark. Ready to put the Danish oil on the inside. Now what I'm hoping is the piece is going to dry. It will undoubtedly warp a little bit, as you would expect for a natural edge piece. I mean, the oil is already coming out on the outside, but as an experimental piece, I'm happy with it. Now with the bowl on the bed, I can run some oil into the bark. Far too much oil used there, but most of it will sink into the wood. And here we are. We're finished for the time being. Overall, I'm quite happy with it, but I am going to keep an eye on it to see how it changes, and you'll be able to keep an eye on how it changes with me if you tune in to Turner's Journey. So for now, thank you very much indeed for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any comments or queries with this video, or even the new format of just concentrating on the finishing, then please do leave a comment below. Hit that like button too, and if you haven't subscribed yet, then please do. The more the merrier. Right, that's it for today. Thanks very much indeed for joining me once again, and I will see you all again on Friday for Turner's Journey, and maybe the week after that for another turning video like this one. Thanks again. Bye for now.